Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 5 video, I'm going to be explaining the real reason why Niko Bellic could return in the biggest update ever coming later this year for Grand Theft Auto Online. So this is something I kind of briefly discussed in my video the other day, discussing all of the Liberty City rumors that Rockstar have been putting out recently. There was a lot of things in the Los Santos Summer Special update, whether it be simple items like t-shirts with Liberty City brands or arcade games that are directly from the Liberty City titles like Grand Theft Auto 4 and its episodes from Liberty City. So a lot of people have been wondering, is this Rockstar sort of planting a little bit of a hint that later this year, which again is going to be the biggest update ever featuring Heist in an entirely new location, that we'll actually be going to Liberty City, which would be super cool. And it would be pretty awesome that we would actually have sort of a map expansion. Now, this also got people talking, well, who would be the perfect candidate to actually lead us through a new heist in Liberty City? And a lot of people naturally were like, well, Niko Bellic. You know, he did some incredible heists in GTA 4, including robbing the Liberty City National Bank, which they made a big deal about in GTA 5. That's something we'll talk about in a little bit. And so that kind of made me wonder, does Niko Bellic cross off all the check marks to return as a character in online? So let's discuss all of them in this video today. So the first thing we need to focus on is Niko Bellic alive? And the answer is yes on two fronts, at least that we know so far. The first is the ending of Grand Theft Auto 4. So at the end of Grand Theft Auto 4, no matter what option you ended up choosing, Niko Bellic lived. And as far as our knowledge, there are no other events in GTA 4 that suggested that he wouldn't be alive to this point. From the various phone calls and interviews and radio station reports that we got, Niko is alive, he's doing well as you can be with both of those endings, which both really end for him in tragedy. But at the end of the day, he's still alive. And then in Grand Theft Auto 5, it looks like he is still alive as well. So from 2018 to 2013, Niko Bellic still alive. And the reason we know that is he is brought up multiple times throughout the story in Easter eggs. He is brought up multiple times throughout the story, like in actual character dialogue, like Lester literally mentioning, not Niko Bellic by name per se, but describing his character perfectly, and that he was still like taking scores in Liberty City, but all of a sudden went quiet. If you guys are really interested in all the Niko Bellic Easter eggs in Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online, I will leave a link to a video I did a couple of years ago in the description that outlines pretty much everything that Niko Bellic is featured in, at least so far. So that's the first stipulation. He's alive in GTA 4, and as far as our knowledge, alive in Grand Theft Auto 5, which takes place in 2013, and in Grand Theft Auto Online, which now, present day, takes place in 2020. So that's the first thing. The next thing is that he crosses off the Rockstar checklist to return, and that is he has to be a part of the HD era. So the HD era consists of GTA 4, The Ballad of Gay Tony, and The Lost and the Damned, and then obviously GTA 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online. So that's why, with very few exceptions, you don't see any returning characters from Vice City, San Andreas, GTA 3. All the characters have been returning from Grand Theft Auto 4, like Tony Prince from the nightclub updates, and even Malk, who ran us through the Bikers update. So there's been a handful of characters that have returned in online, so that means that Niko Bellic could very easily return. So he crosses off the two really stipulations that we need for him to come back. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that will bring up, well, wait a minute. Rockstar is not on the best of terms with Niko Bellic's voice actor, Michael Hollick. And that is very true. And that's something we've also discussed in previous videos, that, you know, Michael Hollick does not have a great relationship with Rockstar. Right after Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, to give you the long story short, he said he wished he got more money from Rockstar because he did all this work for this game, for them to make millions and him to not make millions. It was kind of like a messy split between the two. And since then, we've never seen Niko come back where he's had dialogue. We've seen him in DLCs for GTA 4, but he didn't say any new lines of dialogue. And we've only seen him in Easter eggs and referenced via third person in GTA 5. So you guys might be wondering, well, isn't that a pretty big hurdle and roadblock? The answer is not so much. At least not as you think. So number one, pretty much anyone can do, and I don't want to diminish Michael Hollick, by the way. He did an incredible job with Niko in Grand Theft Auto 4, but pretty much anyone, at least any talented actor, could do the motion capture work for Niko Bellic. The hardest part would just be matching the voice, or at least getting it as close as possible. I'm sure Rockstar could play around with the fact that, almost 12, 13 years has passed. Maybe his accent has changed. Maybe he has gotten more used to American culture, so he sounds a little bit different. Who knows? I'm sure Rockstar could come up with a myriad of reasons. And there's also a lot of talented voice actors out there that could very easily pull this off as well. Like, for example, the other day I saw this video where voice actor and motion capture artist Troy Baker actually had a request from the website Cameo to do an impression of GTA 4's Niko Bellic. I'm sure you guys know who Troy Baker is. He has been featured in a ton of incredibly popular and successful video games, whether it's BioShock or Batman or The Last of Us. I mean, this guy is probably like one of the greatest video game actors, motion capture artists, voiceover specialists of all time. And so I'm actually going to let you take a listen to his impression, and he actually says something pretty funny at the end.
When the war came, I did bad things, and after the war, I thought nothing of bad things. I killed people, smuggled people, sold people. Push me, yellow car! That's what I mean, I don't want to say it was spot on Niko Bellic, but it was pretty close. Do you want to know another impression of Niko Bellic? This is Niko Bellic now acting in games. Ta-da! Not bad, right?
So regarding what he said at the end, I wonder if that's kind of like a challenge from him. Like, yeah, I could do this because no one's voicing Niko Bellic right now. Like, he hasn't had a voice in like 13 years. Now, the only reason that might potentially stop something like this is some potential contract issues. We obviously don't know what Rockstar signed with Michael Hollick, the original voice of Niko Bellic. Maybe he was able to say, like, no one else can voice him if I can't. Again, I know so little about like the voice acting industry and the way they work with these giant publishers and developers. So I'm not sure of like all the little details here, but Troy Baker did a pretty dang good job. Like, obviously it's a little bit different sounding than Michael Hollick, but I feel like he also just like did that on the fly. And with a little bit of practice and voice coaching, I feel like he could be a freaking stud at that. So honestly, right there, I feel like that's Rockstar's biggest hurdle because everything else they've pretty much cleared. Now, it begs the question, will Rockstar swallow their pride and go back to Michael Hollick for the sake of making his character seem as seamless as possible? Because it's pretty clear that there will be some like vocal differences. I'm sure Rockstar can do their best to make it like seem pretty similar, but I think hardcore fans will definitely notice. I don't know if there was any differences between like Tony Prince from GTA 4 and Tony Prince, the one we saw in GTA Online. I'm sure if there was, it was very minor, and Rockstar did a good job of that. And last but not least, the only other thing that really makes sense is the character would fit perfectly. I mean, we know that this new update is going to be about heists, and we know it's going to be taking place in an entirely new location. So wouldn't it be perfect if the guy who did like one of the most audacious heists ever in Liberty City is the guy that runs us through whatever potential heist we're doing? Now, all of this completely depends on if the new location is Liberty City. And we've talked about in previous videos why that might be the case, how it would potentially be the easiest new city for Rockstar to bring back, and also it's simply a fan favorite. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below regarding everything we discussed in this video today. But anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about everything we discussed in this video today, like Niko Bellic returning in a future update. Do you think it's possible? Do you think it will happen? And what do you think about someone else doing the voice of Niko Bellic? Or do you think Rockstar will go back to Michael Hollick? Let me know what you guys are thinking in those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.